In the heart of Africa, a man arose from the forest with fire in his eyes and freedom on his tongue. His name was Patrice Lumumba, not a king, not a priest, but the voice of our people drowning in the silence of colonial chains. But power has no pity. The same hands that promised independence signed his death warrant in secret rooms. They say a man dies only once, but for Patrice Emery Lumumba, death came in layers. One bullet, one betrayal, one silence at a time.
Belgian interests require the final elimination of Lumumba.
July 1st, 1960. The Belgian Congo was no more. A new republic stood, barefooted but defiant. The crowds roared, the drums pounded, and in the heart of the capital, a tall, dark figure rose with the eyes of fire. His name, Patrice Emery Lumumba. Not just a prime minister, but prophet. Not just a man, but a mirror reflecting Africa's agony and its dreams.
Temps de l'indépendance, aujourd'hui victorieux, je vous salue au nom du gouvernement congolais.
No Congolese will ever forget that independence was won in struggle. It was filled with tears, fire, and blood.
While the king of the Belgians offered colonial nostalgia, Lumumba unleashed thunder. We are no longer your monkeys. We are no longer your slaves. We have suffered humiliation, torture, and death. It wasn't not just a speech, it was a storm. And from that moment, Lumumba became a marked man.
Today, the Republic of the Congo has been proclaimed, and the future of our beloved country is now in the hands of its people. I call on all Congolese citizens, men, women, and children, to set themselves resolutely to the task of creating a national economy and ensuring our economic independence. Eternal glory to the fighters for national liberation. Long live independence and African unity. Long live the independent and sovereign Congo.
The West watched and trembled. Eisenhower in Washington, De Gaulle in Paris, Leopold's ghost still lingering in Brussels. A black man who refused to bow, an African who saw through their lies, a leader who could not just unite Congo, but the whole continent. And so they plotted in smoky rooms with Belgian diplomats, Congolese elites, and the CIA. In the shadows stood Joseph Desire Mobutu, once Lumumba's loyal army chief, but bought with money, fed with promises, and of course, trained in betrayal. They whispered in his ear, "You could be president, you could have it all, but first, bring us Lumumba." The Congo cracked. Secession erupted in Katanga. Belgium sent in troops to protect its interests. Of course, the United Nations watched and did nothing. Lumumba cried for help, The West wants my silence, but the Congo wants my voice. But there were no allies, no saviors, only knives behind every smile.
Patrice Lumumba comes back to Leopoldville a prisoner. The former Congo premier, who was captured when he fled inland, no longer wears the tuft of whiskers on his chin that helped to identify him.
Lumumba was captured, beaten, and dragged through the forest like a wounded animal. On January 17, 1961, in Katanga province, they tied him to a tree and forced him to kneel. And with Belgian officers watching, they shot him 3 times, once for each flag that had failed him: the Congo, the United Nations, and the so-called free world. They chopped his body into pieces, dissolved it in acid, fed it to the earth, hoping his name will vanish. But you cannot kill truth with bullets. You cannot bury a storm.
I'm going to speak frankly and bluntly as I usually do. We shall be accused of having murdered them. My reply is, prove it.
Lumumba lives in every African youth who refuses to kneel, in every woman who raises her fist, in every journalist, poet, farmer, or protester who dares to remember. Lumumba died betrayed by Belgium, by America, by Mobutu, and of course, by African silence. But he also died believing that one day the Congo will rise, that one day Africa will remember, that one day the soil will speak his name louder than any bullet ever could.
Belgian interests require the final elimination of Lumumba.
It will soon be over. Say your last prayers.
Our Father, who hath in heaven, hallowed be thy